You are listening to Disney Travel Tales, episode number 19. This is a space where you can escape the real world and immerse yourself in someone's recent Disney trip. I'm Jenny, and today we are talking to Shelly about her trip with her daughter Sky to the parks to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Magic Kingdom. It was a quick 4-day trip, but you will love hearing what the parks were like on October 1st and that following weekend. Head over to our Instagram page at Disney Travel Tales to see pictures from their trip. I truly hope you are enjoying this show, and if you are, please consider leaving a positive review on Apple Podcasts. This is the best way to help a show grow. Last week, I hit a huge milestone of mine with 1,000 downloads. I absolutely love doing this show and allowing guests to share their Disney vacation stories. So thank you so much for listening and supporting me. This show is sponsored by Trolley Lane Travel and owner Becky Abruzzetti. If you are thinking about traveling to any Disney resort or even taking a Disney cruise, then having a travel agent will not only save you time, but also money. With all the exciting things going on at the parks right now, there really is no better time to visit. Owner Becky and her agents are experts at Disney travel. Visit them at trolleylanetravel.com and go to their Request a Quote page for a free, no obligation quote. Get your magical vacation started today. If you book a vacation with them and want to be on the show, let your agent know. This is how I get my guest. Okay, so let's get started. Imagine yourself at Magic Kingdom celebrating the 50th anniversary, and let's go. Hi, Shelly. Thanks for coming back on the podcast to talk about your vacation to Disney World to celebrate the 50th anniversary.
Hi, Jenny. Thanks so much for having me again. I'm so excited to tell you all about it.
I can't wait to hear. You can go back and listen to Shelly and her daughter Sky's first episodes. They are 9 and 10. They took a very long trip to Disney World back in June, right? It was June?
Yes.
Yes, those are great episodes. Okay, so this trip, y'all traveled Thursday, September 30th through Sunday, October 3rd.
Yes.
And what resort did y'all stay at?
We actually stayed at the Dolphin. So it's, the Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin resorts, which are actually the only resorts on Disney property that aren't owned and run by Disney. They are actually owned and run by Marriott. So it was a whole new experience for us.
That's so fun. I cannot wait to hear all about this resort. Okay, so let's just jump right into this. Thursday was your travel day. So how did Thursday go?
Well, it was good with a little hiccup. We flew out of a different airport. We flew out of a smaller airport than we normally do, which we have used the airport before. But we, luckily, I think we did the smaller airport because we got there. Our flight was at 10:30 in the morning. We got in line for security and realized that Sky didn't have her ID.
Oh, no.
So that was exciting, to say the least, because it was in her dorm, which was 2 hours away. So there was no way to run and get it. So we learned all about what happens when you don't have an ID and you need to get on a flight.
Oh, no. So what do they do? Because this is one of my biggest traveling fears. Me and my husband, when we travel, I'm constantly like, do you have your ID? Do you have your ID?
And I asked her that so many times and she said yes. And then we got there and she just got this look of sheer panic on her face. So, so they say that they may let you on without an ID. So, and that was our experience. She did have several other things to prove her identity. So she had a student ID with a picture, a credit card, a debit card, and then her health insurance card. So they looked at all of those things, and then she had to have a super intense security screening. But they did let her on. So it was scary for a minute, but yeah, they did actually let her on. And so now we know what happens when you forget your ID.
Oh my gosh. I bet that had to have been helpful that she had her student ID though, because at least she had a picture.
Yeah,
ID.
with her picture. Yeah. I think it might have been trickier if she hadn't had something with her picture on it.
Oh my gosh, that's just crazy.
So it was an exciting start to our trip.
Yes, to say the least.
So yeah, but we had a really easy flight. We flew Allegiant, which actually doesn't fly into Orlando International. They fly into Stanford, which is about half an hour further away from Disney. So we did that. And when our flight was on time, we landed about noon. We had actually scheduled to be picked up with a different car service than we normally use. We were kind of trying out an option for bigger parties just so that we had the information for clients. Tiffany Town Car, we scheduled them online. It was super easy. And he was actually waiting on us by baggage claim, got our luggage for us, took it out. We hopped in and he drove us right to the resort.
That's awesome. That's great to know. I will link that in the show notes for the listeners.
Yeah, it was definitely a little pricier than what we normally use, but for the Swan and Dolphin, Magical Express is not an option. So even if we would have flown into Orlando International, we still would have had to schedule our own transportation.
I didn't realize that. That's interesting. I mean, Magical Express is going away anyways, but yeah. Yeah,
so that's what I thought. I thought it was the perfect time to try this, the Dolphin, because, we're going to have to figure out options without Magical Express anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was really pleased with their service, and definitely for a bigger party. He brought like a 12 or 15 passenger van to pick us up. So it's definitely, I think, a great option for a bigger party.
Yeah, that's awesome, because sometimes it's hard to find someone that can take a big party. So that's great.
They were great. They we did it online, and then they had texted me the day before just confirming everything. Then he was waiting by baggage claim with he had like my name up on his phone, and he was holding it up so we knew who he was.
That's great. That sounds super easy. Okay, so let's talk about the Dolphin. What was y'all's initial impression of the resort?
It is gorgeous. I know, if people have traveled to Disney before, you see the Swan and Dolphin from Epcot or from the Epcot area resorts. So you've probably, gotten a little glimpse of it's, super impressive with all of the architecture and the big statues. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous resort. It's really impressive when you walk in. Like, they have a really, really pretty lobby. I did learn through researching before we stayed there that it's not dolphins like we normally think of a dolphin that the resort's named after. It's a dolphin fish. So, because I always wondered why there were fish on, like, the statues were fish, not dolphins. So,
yeah,
it's a dolphin fish, which I thought was an interesting fact, which is, if you, like, it has several other names. One of them is, like, mahi mahi. So, like, I think of that as, like, fish tacos.
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting.
But yeah, it was really pretty. The staff was amazing, just really, really great guest service when we checked in. And they did offer us a really reasonably priced upgrade to get a resort view, which is a theme park view.
Oh, nice.
So it was like $20 extra a night, so we couldn't resist. So when we did that, they did actually put us on the 11th floor. So we had a high view, and we could actually see Hollywood Studios and Epcot from our windows.
Oh, that's so fun. I love that. I bet that was felt very magical.
It did. And it was the angle of it. You could actually see all of Galaxy's Edge. So It was really neat.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. So because this isn't a Disney resort, could you not do mobile check-in in the My Disney Experience app?
You could not.
Okay.
So you can link your resort so that, you can make dining reservations and park reservations and all of that. But you, the big differences are no Magical Express, which, like we talked about, that's not going to be an issue anymore in a couple of months. But no mobile check-in. You can't use your Magic Band to get in your room. You do have a traditional key card, and then you can't make charges to your room with your Magic Band.
Interesting.
So those were all, different, but we liked it so much that, it's not anything that would stop me from staying there again.
What did y'all think about y'all's room?
Really, really nice room. Probably the most comfortable beds that I've ever slept in at any resort.
Nice.
So, and it was a really nice size. We really liked everything about it. They actually, just a small detail is there was several complimentary bottles of water in there, which is great to have some cold water to just, stick in your park bag. Normally we do an Instacart order for groceries, but because it was such a short trip, we didn't. So it was great to have, I think there were I believe there were 6 bottles of water. And they had some in the fridge, to be cold, and then some out on the counter. So it was just a little detail that I thought was really helpful.
That is so nice. Water, especially when you're in Florida, it's necessary. So that's really nice that it was there for y'all.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. But yeah, we really could not have been more pleased with the whole experience of the resort. It is considered a deluxe resort because you can book it through Disney. And it is considered like a deluxe resort category, but the price is definitely more in line with like Coronado Springs than any of the more traditional deluxe resorts.
I did not realize it's considered a deluxe resort because, the prices are very affordable.
Yeah.
Wow. And
it was great.
I wonder if you could have like Marriott, if you're like a Marriott member, can you use points or like?
If you book it through Disney, you can there's something, I'm not super proficient with the Marriott reward system.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you can give them your number and you get points towards some things, but maybe not points towards like free nights.
Okay.
But you also can book it directly through them if you don't want to book it through Disney. And then, that way you could use your rewards nights or get points towards free stays.
Good to know. So what did y'all do your first day once y'all got there?
We just went up to our room and dropped off our luggage and headed directly to Hollywood Studios. We had a reservation for drinks at Oga's. So it was about 2:30 by the time we headed towards the boat to Hollywood Studios, and we had an Oga's reservation at 3:30. So we're kind of in a hurry, but it's a really super short boat ride over to Hollywood Studios, so we had plenty of time.
That's another thing about this resort is the easy transportation to the parks, right?
So it's super easy to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. The friendship boats, like the Disney boats, pick you up. The buses are convenient to Animal Kingdom, but Magic Kingdom is a little trickier. They actually don't do Disney. Disney doesn't provide the bus transportation anymore. They have their own bus transportation, so they would drop you off at the Transportation and Ticket Center instead of the park. A super easy way around that, and what we did is you can just walk over to the boardwalk and hop on the Disney bus. So,
that's smart.
It was, I would say it's probably about a 10-minute walk if you walk at a leisurely pace and don't rush. It probably took us about 15 minutes the morning we did it, just because we stopped and chatted with somebody.
Yeah.
So it's you walk over a bridge, then you get to walk like down the boardwalk. It's a really pretty and easy walk. And then that way you can just use the Disney bus.
That whole area over there is just so beautiful. We walked around that area on our last trip and I just loved it. I think it's so pretty.
We've stayed at the boardwalk and it was one of my favorite stays. We loved it so much.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that the Dolphin compared really well to that, but it was maybe about half of the price that we spent on the boardwalk. Although I would say the boardwalk is definitely worth the splurge.
Mm-hmm.
So we will definitely stay there again.
That's great. That's so good to know. Okay, so back to Hollywood Studios. What did y'all do once y'all got there? Did y'all just head straight to Oga's?
Well, we had a few extra minutes, and Sky wanted to look at Pandora charms. So we thought it might be a little less hectic there than it was going to be in Magic Kingdom to look at them. So we went in and looked at those. She actually ended up getting a cute little castle charm with a 50 on the bottom that was one of the 50th anniversary charms. So, and it was really, really easy. It wasn't crowded to shop in there at all. Actually, that evening, the crowds were great at Hollywood Studios. It wasn't crowded at all.
So that evening, was that the evening they were showing the last Happily Ever After over at Magic Kingdom? I wonder if people were heading that way.
Well, I think maybe the last Happily Ever After was the evening before.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it was one of the evenings that they were showing like a preview of Harmonious at Epcot.
Okay.
So I think I might be wrong about Happily Ever After, just because we saw Happily Ever After at the end of July and I said goodbye to it, sadly. So,
yeah.
So we knew we weren't going to go see it again. Like we had already kind of made peace with that, the end of July was our last time getting to see it.
Yeah, and from the pictures, it looked crazy crowded, so that was probably a good choice.
Yeah. Hollywood Studios was a great choice that night. The crowds were great.
That's awesome.
The weather wasn't bad. Like there was a nice breeze, and we had a really nice evening.
That's so fun. So what drinks did y'all get at Oga's?
Sky, and I can never remember what Sky's is called. It's the one that has the dry ice in the bottom and the little like popping pearls, like the little fruit boba.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we actually this time sat at the bar and the bartender made it in front of us, which was super cool. She poured everything in and made it start bubbling right in front of us and told the whole backstory. One of those crazy looking space creatures that looks like a frog. There's a tank behind the bar. And so the story is the little popping pearls are the frog eggs.
Oh my gosh.
So you have to drink them quickly or there might be something hatch out of them.
Oh, that's funny.
It's the first time that we had ever gotten the backstory and it was great. The bartender was great. So, and then I had a margarita. So I think it's called like an outer rim or something with a margarita with black salt on the rim. And then we actually tried the space version of a charcuterie board because we were starving. We hadn't had anything to eat all day because we had left so early for our flights.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a little snack in there, which we, normally just have drinks. So yeah, we hadn't had, we were kind of worn out and hungry and we did have a dinner reservation, but it wasn't for a few hours. So the charcuterie board was definitely for adventurous eaters. So it was good. I don't know that I would have it again, but I'm glad that we tried it.
Yeah, that's fun.
So there were some interesting little things on there. So.
That's always fun to try new stuff.
Hey parents, do your kids listen to podcasts? Do they like solving mysteries and flexing their imaginations? Mysteries at Riddleton Elementary is a new children's mystery podcast. Your kid can join Billy Bonanza and Susie Sockington on exciting and wacky adventures as they attempt to solve mysteries around their school. Mysteries at Riddleton Elementary is available now on all podcast platforms.
Yeah, and then while we were in Galaxy's Edge, Sky's all about her characters, so she got to talk to and take pictures with Kylo Ren and some stormtroopers, and then that was before Oga's, and then after Oga's, she got to spend a good bit of time with Rey and Chewie.
Fun.
So they're back to doing their little show that they did like pre-COVID. A lot of times they would be in their little area working on the ships. So they were doing they were being mechanics, and the crowds were so low that she kind of got to hang out with them for a really good amount of time while they were working.
Oh, that's fun. So what'd y'all do after that?
We headed over to Toy Story Land. We are infamous for going to Hollywood Studios and never leaving Galaxy's Edge. So this time I said, can we, please maybe like get out in the park a little bit. So we walked over to Toy Story Land and did Toy Story Mania, which is one of our favorites. And we hadn't done it for a long time just because Sky loves the Star Wars stuff so much that we just hadn't ventured over that way. So we did Toy Story Mania, and then we came out and tried the Halloween lunchbox tart from Woody's Lunchbox. We split one just to try it. It was good. It was like a sugar cookie with Nutella filling.
Sounds good.
So yeah, we're all about like the snacks and the shopping.
Yes.
So we we kind of hung out in Toy Story Land, and then sort of just leisurely wandered our way around, and it really wasn't super long until it was time for our dinner reservation.
Where did y'all have a reservation at?
The Hollywood Brown Derby, which it was actually our first time trying that as well, and it was really, really good. We'll definitely go there again.
So what did y'all get for dinner?
Their signature dish is the Cobb salad, like the chopped Cobb salad. So we had to have that. Just when you got to try what they're famous for. So we both actually had that, and it was delicious. One of the best salads that I've ever had.
Oh, I want to try that so bad. I was looking at pictures of it one day, and it looks so good.
It is. It's so good. Everything is just like chopped super finely, and then they mix it at the table for you.
Oh, fun.
So yeah, we had that, and then their other signature dishes, the grapefruit cake. So we split a grapefruit cake for dessert. And it was funny. Sky actually, when we gotten there, had gotten a BB-8 balloon. So we had BB-8 in the Brown Derby with us. He was just like hanging out in the chair next to me.
That's so funny.
It was funny that we were, in the nicer restaurant with the BB-8.
Yeah.
At the table.
I'm sure it wasn't a first for them.
No, definitely not. So,
did y'all like the grapefruit cake?
The first bite was jarring. Like it's, grapefruit is kind of a really strong flavor, and it was very grapefruit. I think the first bite, we kind of looked at each other and we were like, oh no, like this is no.
Yeah.
But then, like after a few more bites, when you kind of like got over the initial how much grapefruit there was, it was really good. I would have it again.
Yeah, I've heard mixed reactions.
Yeah, it was kind of. I think the glaze has the most grapefruit. The cake itself, and then there's like a cheesecake filling.
Mm-hmm.
They were grapefruit, but not the. The first bite was shocking. So.
That's funny.
And it was a really big portion, so it was definitely, I was glad that we decided to share one.
Yeah, it's a shareable size.
Yeah, and we had, everywhere at Disney, you always have great servers, but our waiter was great. Like he was just really good. He was, there enough without like being there too much. So
yeah.
It was really great.
That's always fun. I kind of like when the waiters want to interact a little bit.
Yes. And he did. He was definitely very chatty, and he was, great right on top of it with like drink refills and, taking away dishes. And they, I think they have the same rolls and butter that they have at Narcoossee's.
Okay.
So they're one of my favorites,
mm-hmm.
like the sourdough rolls, and then they have like a salted butter that they bring you with them. So good. So yeah, he was right on top of it with the bread and the drinks and everything.
That's great. So what'd y'all do after dinner?
Well, we had all intentions of riding more rides, but we were worn out and we knew that we had to be up early the next morning. We were going to try to get a boarding group for Remy's Ratatouille adventure on opening day. So we actually kind of just leisurely wandered our way out. Hollywood Studios is my favorite park, and I especially love it in the evening. You know, the lights were all on and the crowds were really low, and we just kind of enjoyed the atmosphere and slowly walked out and hopped on the boat back to the resort.
Oh, that sounds so nice. I love the music they play on the main street in Hollywood Studios. It's just so fun.
Yep, that's it for me too. It was like the music and the lights, and so it wasn't super hot, so there was like a nice breeze, and the crowds were good. So I really enjoyed just kind of walking out and soaking it all in.
That's so fun. I love it. All right, so let's talk about October 1st. So y'all went to Epcot.
We did. Like, that's kind of my thing, that I usually figure out where everyone else is going and decide to go somewhere else. So we knew that we did not really probably want to do Magic Kingdom on the 1st. So we did Epcot. We got up and were ready to go to get a boarding group for Remy at 7, and we didn't get one.
Oh, man.
So that was disappointing, but, you know, we knew we had another chance at 1 o'clock, and, you know, it was a magical day. So we weren't going to let that ruin anything. We knew that we were still going to have a great time. So we did just, you know, that slowed us down as far as we didn't really need to rush to get to Epcot. So we, you know, took our time and headed over to Epcot around 9. Disney was doing a super job with transportation because, you know, they anticipated the crowd levels. And we actually got on a boat that was directly going to Epcot. They weren't stopping at the other resorts like they normally do. They were running some boats that were running the regular resort route, and then some boats were directly to Epcot.
That is so nice, because we got on one of those boats once and we didn't realize they stopped at all those resorts, and that takes a long time.
It does. So yeah, it was super quick. I mean, we were probably at Epcot. It probably wasn't much more than 5 minutes because we timed it just right. When we walked up, the boat was there, and they actually held the boat because they saw us coming, and we hopped on, and it was a really quick trip to Epcot.
Oh, how fun. So what'd y'all do when y'all first got to Epcot?
When we go in that back entrance, we always like to hop in World Traveler. The way that Disney did merchandise for both for Remy's Ratatouille Adventure and for the 50th was they were only in certain locations. So the rest of the stores weren't crowded at all. So we just kind of shopped our way through there, and then headed up and went over to like the World Showplace area where they normally have like the food and wine booths and all that. They actually had all of the Remy's Ratatouille Adventure merchandise in there, and you had to get in a virtual queue.
Okay.
So we got in the virtual queue to shop, and there's a Joffrey's right there. So we grabbed Joffrey's and just kind of hung out by the water and waited on our turn to shop.
That sounds so nice.
Joffrey's had a 50th anniversary frappe. I can't remember what it was called, but it was fruity and shimmery and sparkly and so much fun. So
Cute.
we had one of those, and then we actually split a cinnamon roll, which I haven't had a cinnamon roll from Joffrey's, and I have to say it might be my favorite cinnamon roll at Disney, which is controversial. Everybody loves Gaston's, and I love those too, but it was such a good cinnamon roll, and it was huge. It was more than enough for us to share for breakfast.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try one.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen one before. They only had one left, and we grabbed it, and I was so glad we did. It was a really good cinnamon roll.
That's awesome. Yeah, I always hear about the big donuts, but I actually have never heard of a cinnamon roll.
Yeah, I hadn't either, but I would if you happen to go to a Joffrey's that has one, I would definitely recommend getting one.
Sounds good.
But yeah, it wasn't very long. We had our drink and our cinnamon roll, and we got the text that we could go back and shop. Sky loves Remy, so she was so excited to get to go in and look at all the Remy merchandise.
I bet it was so cute. I love Remy too.
It was really, really cute. She got, Sky got an opening day shirt and a pin. And then I got a cute little timer, kitchen timer, and a wine stopper that were both Remy. And all the stuff was so, so cute.
Mm-hmm. I bet.
They were doing a really good job too, as far as like getting people through, and they had a ton of registers open. So, it was crowded in there, but it was a really good experience as far as getting in and out.
That's great, because it did not sound like that was the case over at Magic Kingdom.
No. And so we definitely wanted that 50th merch too, especially the October 1st exclusive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So when we left, when we were done shopping for Remy, we directly headed over and got in line for Creation Shop, which, is I say the new mouse gear. It's the new, main gift shop at Epcot. So it looked like a pretty long line to get into shop, but it was moving super quickly. I think we waited about 10 minutes, which was definitely not what was happening over at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, that's not that bad at all.
And they did have most everything that we wanted. We definitely went in and probably over shopped. Sky got a really super cute like varsity jacket that
Mm-hmm.
was exclusive for the first. I think initially had thought that she was going to get a Spirit jersey, but she just really liked the jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got so it was one of those where everything's so cute and you can't get it again. So
yes,
got like a pass holder shirt and a mug. They had and Sky got the ear hats. It wasn't exclusive for the first, but they did have it there, and she knew she wanted it, so she got the 50th ear hat.
It's so cute. I've seen pictures of it.
It is, and then when we were at Magic Kingdom, she got her name embroidered on it,
Oh,
which
I
we've never done the embroidery before, and it is so cute.
Okay, so that's good to know. You can buy it somewhere else and then take it over to Magic Kingdom and then get it embroidered.
Yes, and we actually got it embroidered at the gift shop when you come out of Still Her Magic.
Okay, that's good to know.
There are a few different places that they do it, but that one wasn't crowded at all. We actually just waited on it. She only had one in front of us, so I think it took about 10 minutes.
Wow, that's awesome.
I will say they hadn't done a lot of those, and they have a lining, whereas the regular ear hats don't have a lining. So
Mm-hmm.
They did tell us that it was kind of at our own risk, that they hadn't done enough. They'd only done one of them. And they were like, if it messes up, we don't have one to replace it. So we, kind of just have to let you know that we don't think there'll be a problem, but, we have to let you know that we can't replace it if there is a problem.
Right.
There wasn't. It was perfect.
That's awesome.
It was perfect. And it's such a great keepsake with her, especially, with her name on it.
Yes, that's so sweet. I love it. So what y'all do after y'all shopped at Creation Shop?
It was, we had on the boat on the way over to Epcot, I had decided to try to grab a last minute lunch reservation so that we were somewhere quiet and ready when it was time to try for the 1:00 boarding groups for Remy. So
that's very
we actually
smart.
had a 12:30 reservation at Nine Dragons, which is one of our favorites at Epcot. I'm so glad that they reopened. We hadn't been back since they reopened. They were a little bit behind a lot of other stuff with the reopening.
Mm-hmm.
So we just kind of strolled through Mexico and Norway and headed over for our lunch reservation.
Very nice. See, that's like an expert Disney traveler. Not tip, but what y'all did is making sure you were in a good, quiet location to be ready for that boarding pass.
Yeah, and Nine Dragons, I know if read all the bloggers and things, people like to not be kind. We love it. I mean, it's not, they don't reinvent, Chinese food. It is a lot like you can get anywhere, but it's just really well done. Like everything is always so good. They have really super good service. Like and it's always, fairly quiet and not crowded in there. It's one of our favorites to get out of the crowds and heat and everything for a little bit.
Yes.
We were in and seated and had our food and everything by the time it was time to try for that 1:00 boarding group. And we did actually get one.
Yay.
So yay. So Sky was crying in Nine Dragons because she was so happy that we got a boarding group.
That's adorable. I love it.
So yeah, our food was great. We probably hung out in there longer than we needed to just because it was a nice break from the day. So and they had a really fun 50th anniversary dessert. So it was kind of like a homemade ice cream, and then there was Jell-O on the bottom, and a fortune cookie on top. It was just really cute dessert.
That sounds so good. Jell-O and ice cream, I would have never thought.
No, that was not a usual combination. And there was some kind of cream with toffee in between the ice cream and Jell-O. It was a really unique flavor. I was glad we got it though, and it was so pretty.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how were the crowds at Epcot this day?
Really, they were not bad at all. Several times, Sky and I both were like, I'm so happy with our decision to flip it and do Epcot today and then, Magic Kingdom on Saturday. So the only place that was really crowded at all was the France Pavilion.
Yeah,
people were, hanging out, waiting on their boarding group for Remy and, wanting to try the new crepe restaurant. So
when y'all got your boarding group, how long did it say your wait was until you needed to arrive? Do you remember?
I think it was maybe close to 3 hours.
Okay.
Was what it said. So, and it was pretty accurate. It was, just like if you've gotten a boarding group for Rise of the Resistance, you could check it and it would tell you what groups were boarding and how long you could anticipate waiting.
That's nice. So you have plenty of time to just kind of do a few things. Yeah,
we decided we were going to go back, and we did actually go back and ride Frozen Ever After. That's our favorite. So we did actually go back and ride that. I think it was about a 35-minute wait, so not bad at all for that ride.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, so we did that and stopped off for the bubble milk tea at the little Joy of Tea kiosk in China on our way back through Sky. Can't go to Epcot and not have her bubble tea. So yeah, we initially thought we were going to go back and ride Soarin' and pick up some rides, but then we were like, well, it's been a long time since we just kind of leisurely shopped our way around World Showcase, so we decided rather than ride rides that we were going to just kind of shop our way around and wait on our boarding group.
That's so fun. Shopping World Showcase is one of my favorite things to do.
Yes, mine too. And we have our go-to shops that we always go to, but it had been a while since we had really just kind of randomly stopped everywhere. So we really, for whatever reason, don't often shop in Italy. So we really, really enjoyed spending some time in the Italy Pavilion.
Oh, that's fun.
We shopped and then we grabbed root beer floats from the new little gelato stand. They were good. I highly recommend the gelato root beer floats. So
Oh yeah, that sounds amazing.
we took some pictures. There were a couple of PhotoPass photographers doing pictures with Italy in the background. So we took some PhotoPass pictures and just kind of wondered. We happened to be walking by when we got to the America Pavilion. The Voices of Liberty were on stage at the America Gardens Theater, so we hopped in there and got to watch them do a couple of songs. We were kind of at the end of their set, but we got to see a couple of songs.
That's fun.
And then while we were there, we actually got the notice that our boarding group was called. So we headed on over to get in line for Remy.
So what was your impression of that whole new area of France?
It was pretty crowded, so it was maybe a little harder to get a good feel for it.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that France is my favorite pavilion in the World Showcase, and I still prefer the main, original part.
Mm-hmm.
The expansion, it's cute, but so far I, kind of feel like it's a little bit separated from the original pavilion.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe, once I've been a couple more times and it's maybe not as crowded, I'll feel differently. But I did feel like, to me, it felt like they were two distinctly separate areas.
That's interesting, yeah.
But yeah, we ended up, even with the boarding group, I think we waited maybe about 30 minutes. We were in line for Remy, but it wasn't a bad wait at all.
Is most of the line outside at this point?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a good bit of it was outside, but it was covered. The queue was covered, and there were fans, so it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad wait.
So, what did y'all think of the ride?
Well, the queue itself, once you get indoors, is super, super cute. Anybody who is a big fan of Remy is going to just love it. There's actually a little, the Remy's actual restaurant, the Rat restaurant. They have a little replica of that in the queue, and it was really, really, it was really cute. But and the ride was really fun. I will say, if you're prone to, really, really prone to motion sickness, probably be careful with, the motion of the ride vehicles themselves and then the screens. It was a couple of times I had to shut my eyes
Mm-hmm.
just to get my bearings for a second. It was such a good ride, though. There were just, yeah, it was perfect as far as, the movie. So, Sky was good on the ride, but actually when we got off, she was really, really dizzy for a while.
Oh, no.
Just from the motion sickness. I think she wasn't really sick at her stomach or anything like that. It was more just dizzy
Mm-hmm.
for a while. And she was okay on the ride. It was after we got off that
Yeah.
she was pretty out of sorts for a while.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think you would have to be really sensitive to motion sickness for it to bother you.
It's really interesting how some of those screen rides affect people. My husband can ride any roller coaster, but when we go on a ride that's a big screen ride and has a lot of movement, he gets motion sick.
Yeah. Sky can't do anything that goes in circles.
Mm-hmm.
But normally she's okay. She is fine with Soarin' and Flight of Passage. This is the only one that's ever affected her like that. But I do think it relies really heavily on screens.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a combination, like I said, I think a combination of the ride vehicle moving around and the screens just kind of caught her off guard and threw her for a little loop.
Yeah, because I haven't watched spoiler videos, but I have seen, and the car itself kind of zips you around, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
The cars are so cute though. Like all of that stuff is just, it's just all so cute with all of the little Remy like stuff.
That's so cute. Well, I'm glad y'all got to ride it. I'm so sorry to hear it made her not feel good. That's unfortunate.
It was, but I don't think it'll stop her from doing it again. I think I know I've talked to several people who the screen rides affect them like that, and we got some recommendations for maybe to try like a Dramamine before, or the patches that go behind your ears.
Yeah, and they have like motion sickness bracelets now you can wear that I've heard work really good.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that as well. So I think she will try it again. We'll just maybe try to have something on hand to help with her motion sickness.
Yeah, and maybe knowing what's going to happen will help as well. It's not that unknown where you're kind of like, oh.
Yeah, I think so. And I actually had seen somebody talking about that like in a Facebook group, and they said that they had ridden it several times during their trip, and each time like it got easier for them as far as the motion sickness.
Yeah, that's good.
But yes, I don't think it wasn't anything serious enough that will stop her from riding it again, I don't think.
Well, that is good. So what y'all do after that?
Well, it was one of those like you have to be flexible things. She really felt super bad. We had dinner reservations at Via Napoli and planned to watch Harmonious for the first time. She really wasn't feeling well enough to stay. So we canceled our reservation and headed back to the resort with the intention of letting her nap for a little bit and still heading back over and just maybe grabbing quick service and still watching Harmonious. But she was pretty out of sorts for the rest of the evening, so we ended up just staying in. We had room service pizza, and we could see the fireworks part of Harmonious from our window. So we had a pizza picnic and watched fireworks from the window.
That's fun. At least you could see that.
Yes, yeah, we could see. We had a really good view of the fireworks. Of course, we couldn't like see the screens or hear the music, but it'll still be there. Like we'll get to do it next time. And like she just really wasn't. She would have gone, but you tell she would have not had a good time. So.
Yeah, and especially when you're not feeling good, if you're in crowds, I'm sure it was crowded. Because from what I've heard, there's really only certain locations you can see the screens really well. So
yeah,
it probably would have been crowded, and she just probably would have felt worse.
Yeah, and I think that day was the first time since park hopping came back that they actually closed a park to hopping. They closed Magic Kingdom. So I think a lot of people headed for Epcot. So I think it was pretty crowded. So I think we probably made the right decision, and we'll get to see Harmonious many more times.
Absolutely.
And we also knew that we had to be up really early again the next morning. So
yeah.
So it was okay. The pizza was really good. The room service pizza, the whole room service experience at the Dolphin was great. We ordered, and it probably took maybe 20 minutes to get there. They bring it to you in like a reusable shopping bag. And then when you're done, you just put everything back in the bag and put it in the hall. And on the app, you can request that they come back and pick it up.
Oh, that is so nice.
So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, that's a great system. It's better than just trays that you just have trays of food sitting outside your room. Yeah,
everything was in like disposable containers, and then you just put it back in the bag. And yeah, the app was, Swan and Dolphin has their own app. So it was super easy to order, and then also to have them come back and pick up the trash.
That's awesome. That sounds like a great system. Well, that sounds like a super fun day. What was the vibe of the park over in Epcot that day?
It was great. Like I think everybody knew what was going on at Magic Kingdom. So everybody was just kind of grateful and happy to be there. Everybody was really friendly. All the cast members were great. We didn't come in contact with one cast member that wasn't so happy to be there, to be working on that day. Like it was just such an important day, and you could feel that, everyone knew that it was an important day, and everybody was just, grateful and happy to be there.
That's wonderful. How fun. Okay, so let's move on to your next day, Saturday, October 2nd. Where did y'all go?
So we had an 8:30 reservation for Cinderella's Royal Table. Magic Kingdom opened at 9. Resort guests were supposed to be able to get in at 8:30. Swan and Dolphin is included in those early hours. So we actually left our room at 6:45 just because we knew we needed to, allow extra time with everybody trying to get to the parks early. Like I said, it was a easy and beautiful walk over to take the bus from the boardwalk. So we did that. We didn't wait long at all for a bus. I think it was before 7:30 that we were at Magic Kingdom.
Wow.
So, and the security was asking if anybody had a breakfast reservation and moving people that had breakfast reservations to shorter lines so you could get in quicker. I think it was right about 8 that they started letting people through. We got in, no problem at all. Then we went over, to the right of the castle towards Tomorrowland and there was cast members there checking to see if you were a resort guest. We got through there, and then it was a pretty big crowd gathered there waiting for 8:30 to be able to go back into Fantasyland. I think that day the main problem was people were trying to get back to the circus area to get a virtual queue to shop for 50th. Mm-hmm. So I think that crowd was way worse than it normally would be.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
So it was a big crowd, and when they took off, it was overwhelming. I just kind of grabbed Sky and we stood to the side and just let them go by.
Yes.
We weren't running for the circus. We were just trying to get into Fantasyland to go to Cinderella's Royal Table.
Right.
But it was definitely intense. People were very caught up in the shopping, I think.
That's just crazy. That's what I've heard, is that the merchandise kind of took over.
Yeah, the ride wait times were great because people just wanted to shop.
Mm-hmm. So I do have a question about your 8:30 reservation. Is that the first reservation for breakfast at Cinderella's Royal Table?
I think that maybe 8 or 8:15 because there were already a good bit of people seated and eating when we got there at 8:30.
So if you have an early reservation, they just kind of let you through?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that was our experience. That they were letting you through, and I think even if you weren't a resort guest and you had one, if you told them at the little checkpoint where they were inside the park, that you had a reservation and showed them on your phone that they were letting people through so you could get to your reservation.
Okay, that's good to know.
I would definitely recommend allowing a little extra time, especially if your reservation is at 8:30, just because we did get caught up on all of the merch shoppers and the people heading to rides, and it wasn't possible to get to the front to tell a cast member that we needed through for a reservation. So we still did fine, though. We still did fine as far as time. I checked in for our reservation while we were walking towards the castle, and they texted that we were ready, that our table was ready right as we walked up. So the timing ended up good.
That sounds good. So how was your breakfast?
It was delicious. We loved Cinderella's Royal Table for breakfast and dinner. They had a special 50th anniversary champagne flight, which was amazing. I didn't realize that there's the champagne that's bottled exclusively for Cinderella Castle. It's the only place that you can get it. And they did it as a flight. You had just the regular plain champagne with some gold leaf in it, and then one with strawberry puree, and then one with some the blue curacao, or I'm not sure if I say that one right. But
Sounds good to me.
Some like the little popping pearls in there too, like the little fruit popping pearls. So it was awesome. I highly recommend the champagne flight for as long as they have it. It was like a special 50th anniversary thing. So I think it'll be around for a little bit though.
Yeah, I bet they have it for the whole 50th celebration.
Yep, it was great. We both had shrimp and grits, which is both kind of our go-to for breakfast there.
And the characters are not coming out, right? Or Cinderella just comes out?
Cinderella comes out and makes a little trip around the outer rim of the restaurant every little bit. So she did that. We got to see her a few times, and she waves and poses for pictures. They had, since we had been there in July, they brought back, they're giving you the wishing stars again and sort of doing the little wishing ceremony, which they weren't previously doing since they reopened after the COVID closure.
That's fun.
And then as we walked out, they were giving you either the magic wand or the sword again on your way out.
Oh, fun.
They hadn't been doing that, since the COVID closure either. So they are things are slowly getting back to normal.
That's so nice. So how long does this breakfast usually take? Like, how long were y'all in there for people who are curious if it's worth doing it as a breakfast?
Well, I mean, everything comes out super quickly. You could definitely, do it quicker than we do. We kind of like to just hang out and enjoy the castle. So we take our time. I think we were in there about an hour.
Okay.
So it definitely wasn't bad. And that was really with us kind of lingering over our orange juice and just sort of not being in a rush.
That sounds nice. And an hour, that's a good time. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad at all.
So what'd y'all do after breakfast?
We hopped over and did PhilharMagic, which is one of our favorite things to do. We did PhilharMagic, and then we got Sky's hat embroidered at that gift shop. So we just kind of hung out on a bench, and people watched while we were waiting on her ear hat. Then we hopped over and rode Winnie the Pooh. So, and then I think after that, they have the new Snow White cone at Storybook Treats. So we wanted to try one of those. Probably mostly we wanted to take pictures of it.
Yes.
It was really good though. It was lemon Dole Whip. So, and we hadn't had the lemon. We've had lime, but not lemon. So it was cute and very Instagrammable.
Nice.
So yeah, and then after we had our cone, we headed to kind of hang out on Main Street because we wanted to make sure that we got to see the new Mickey cavalcade and see Mickey and Minnie and everyone in their 50th anniversary outfits. So we hopped over there and actually looked out, and the Tinkerbell cavalcade was coming through as we walked up. So we got to see Tinkerbell, and then just a few minutes later, Mickey and friends came through, and we got to hear the new song and see the new outfits. I love, Get Your Ears On is my favorite park song, but the new song is really great too. I really, really thought it was a really fun cavalcade, and their outfits are gorgeous.
I love their outfits. Oh my gosh, they're so beautiful, and they just look so cute.
So yeah, but we did the cavalcades. We kind of just walked down Main Street. The lines for shopping were a little long, but not anything like the day before. We went over to guest relations to get new annual pass holder cards. They had 50th anniversary ones, so of course we wanted to get those.
That's fun.
So that did take a little bit because quite a few people were also waiting for the same thing. It didn't take super long, though. They ended up actually just asking people if you were just in line for that and you didn't actually have, an issue you needed help with. So they sort of separated everyone out and got us in and out pretty quickly with our pretty new 50th cards.
That's awesome.
And after that, we did grab a popcorn bucket. We didn't get one of the like Mickey balloon ones that people were going crazy over. We just got the regular one, but it is really cute with all the 50th stuff on it. Pooh and friends were up on the train station, so Sky got to visit with them a little bit.
Cute.
And then we decided to see if we could get in the Emporium. The line looked really long, but we thought, well, we'll hop in for a minute and just see how long it takes. We weren't even in line 5 minutes. Like we basically just walked right through the line and walked right in.
That's great.
So yeah, and then we bought more. We thought we were done shopping, but then we got in there and it's all so pretty. So we got a tote bag and a couple of the Mickey foam, like the Mickey head soap dispensers.
Mm-hmm. Those are so cute.
And we got the elusive Starbucks tumblers that people had been fighting over the day before.
That's just
They
crazy.
actually were very well stocked when we were in there. It was not an issue to get them.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it was another one of those. We were glad we waited until that day.
Yes, it sounds like y'all had such a great experience over there.
We did. We really did. So after that, we were waiting on the Princess Cavalcade to come through, and it started raining. So we hopped in Starbucks and got drinks. The rain didn't last very long. It wasn't raining anymore when we came out of Starbucks.
Oh, nice.
So we sat at the little umbrella tables over by the plaza and just kind of people watched and had our Starbucks. And Sky decided she needed some corn dog nuggets from Casey's. So we mobile ordered and had some corn dog nuggets and just kind of hung out. It was crowded. I mean, it was. But there was no way it wasn't going to be. It definitely wasn't as crowded as the day before, but
right.
We had a ton of stuff we were carrying from shopping. So we decided, it was about maybe 3:30. We decided we were going to head back to the resort and drop off our stuff and freshen up before dinner. We didn't the Princess Cavalcade, because of the rain, didn't ever come through. So we just went ahead and went out, hopped on a bus. The bus for Yacht and Beach actually came before the boardwalk bus, and you can do either one. So we hopped on the bus to Yacht and Beach. And then when we got there, we walked out and got on the boat, and the boat took us over to the Swan and Dolphin. So we just kind of cleaned up and rested in a little bit, and then just grabbed a lift to take us to dinner at the Contemporary.
So I just love, like, that is what is so intriguing to me about the resorts over there, is there's so many options for getting there. Like, it's not like when you're staying at another resort, you really can only get on your bus. So you have to wait, and there might be more people. It's just, there's multiple resorts in that area, that Epcot area. And so you can kind of pick and choose which bus, like which line shorter, which bus is here.
Yeah, we walked up and we were in line for the boardwalk bus, and then the Yacht and Beach bus pulled up first. So we just went over and hopped on that one.
That is so nice. So let's talk about your dinner. I'm so excited to hear about it. Where did y'all eat?
We actually got to try Steakhouse 71, which opened on the 1st. So we were there the second day it was open. It was amazing. It was definitely like a 70s vibe, but more upscale 70s vibe. It was so good. So good. I heard someone say that, it's not, maybe there's not as much of a Disney feel, and there isn't. I mean, it's not Chef Mickey's. It's more of like an upscale feel, but it's very Disney to me because our waiter was amazing. The food was great. It was just overall a great experience. I think it's probably going to be like must do every trip for us now.
I think it's important too for Disney to have restaurants that aren't super Disney for the people who kind of just want to go eat at a nice restaurant.
It was great. I had the New York strip with garlic mashed potatoes. And then Sky, there was like one chicken dish on the menu, and she decided to try that. It was really, really good. We both loved our food. We had onion rings as an appetizer. So yeah, it was great. A tip that I try to give as often as I can is Disney servers, especially in the nicer locations like that, are so well trained as far as the food, which they are at all locations. But when it's like, a little nicer, and maybe they're aware that there are things that maybe guests aren't as familiar with, ask them. Like they love it when you ask for their opinion or their recommendation, and they never steer you wrong. Like they have a really extensive list of sauces that you can choose to go with your steak. And I just wasn't sure with the cut of steak I got or like which sauce I wanted. And I asked, and he suggested the béarnaise sauce, and it was perfect. And you could tell he was really happy to be asked. If you ask them, you can tell that they're always, really happy to be able to share their opinion with you.
That's great advice, because that's their job. That's what they're trained for.
Yeah, and we've done that before at the nicer things with like menus that maybe you're not as used to. Just ask, if you don't know what you want, just ask. Just, what is your favorite or what would you recommend?
Mm-hmm.
And they never steer you wrong. Like that, the sauce made the whole dish. And that probably is not what I would have picked if I would have just picked one on my own. So he was great. He was really, really great the whole meal. But they love it when you ask. Just ask them what they think. That's their job.
That's great advice. That's wonderful.
So I did get to try one of I know they've been all over social media, the drinks with the lemonade, and then you drop the little character. We got Mickey, so it was strawberry, and it sort of dissolves and makes your drink all pretty and flavored. So we get to try that.
That's fun. She
liked it a lot. It made the lemonade into strawberry lemonade, and it's sort of iridescent, so it's like it's hard to see that from pictures and videos, but yeah, it was definitely sort of shimmery and sparkly after you dropped the little Mickey in. So that was exciting.
Did y'all get a dessert?
We did not, only because we just couldn't. And I've been so excited. They have that whiskey chocolate layer cake, and I had been dreaming of that, and I would have been miserable. So
yeah.
We'll have to try again, I think.
Yeah.
We'll have to go and try again. But yeah, we really wanted dessert, but we knew we were getting ready to head back to Magic Kingdom to watch Enchantment. So we knew just did not want to overeat and be completely miserable. I still want to try the chocolate cake though. So definitely next time, I'll try to get something smaller so that I can save room for dessert. Yes. Or skip the appetizer maybe.
Yeah, or just plan to go back to your room after dinner and not go back to a park.
Yeah. I know the table next to us, we were chatting with them back and forth, and they got their desserts to go because they were just going back to their resort.
That's smart.
So, but yeah, after that, we love, Sky and I are shoppers. So we shopped in the Contemporary. That's one of our favorite places to shop. So
it's so fun.
We shopped. We didn't buy a super lot because we bought so much 50th stuff the last couple of days. Sky got a cute little orange bird shoulder sitter. She loves orange bird. And I really think that's probably all that we bought. But yeah, so then we hopped on the monorail to head over to Magic Kingdom and try to snag a spot for Enchantment.
So what time do you think this was around the time that y'all were looking for a spot?
We got there and started looking for a spot about 7:45, and fireworks were at 9.
Okay. Did y'all get a good spot?
We got the spot we wanted, but maybe it would not have been the spot that everyone else wanted. We really wanted to be at the end of Main Street because we wanted to see the projections light up Main Street. We didn't want to be directly in front of the castle and not be able to see Main Street. When we got there, we got in line right at the very end of Main Street. So if you wanted to be closer to the castle that day, you would have had to be there a lot earlier than we got there. So yeah, we were kind of right in front of the doorway to the confectionery.
Okay.
It was a good spot for us, and like I said, we really wanted to see the Main Street projections. So
yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a good vantage point for some people.
We definitely had a better view when we started than we did when Enchantment started. People like to cram in at the last second, and it's not ideal, but it's something I think you need to prepare yourself for because it's frustrating.
For sure, absolutely.
But there's not really anything that you can do about it. So it's just something that I think you need to mentally prepare that, some guy a foot taller than you holding his phone up over his head might get in front of you 5 minutes before the fireworks start, even though you've been standing there for an hour and 15 minutes.
Yes. Oh, that's so frustrating.
The good part about being that far back, though, was we still had an okay view. And we could still, see all the projections, and I was fine with being at the end of Main Street because I think my favorite part of it was the fact that they've, included Main Street with the projections.
So what were your thoughts on this show? Because I've heard a lot of mixed reviews.
Okay, well, if you're a first-time visitor, I think you're going to love it. It's definitely Disney. Disney does fireworks and nighttime shows like nobody else. There's no comparison. I am so emotionally attached to Happily Ever After that this definitely did not take the place of that in my heart. I miss Happily Ever After. So I do think, like I said, I do think if you're a first time visitor, you're gonna love it. If you're used to Wishes and Happily Ever After, it's gonna take some getting used to maybe. The soundtrack is, it's just, I didn't feel that emotional connection. I have not ever seen Happily Ever After and not cried from the first note of the song to the end. And I definitely did not, I didn't have the connection with Enchantment. But it was technically beautiful. The projections were beautiful. The fireworks were good.
Yeah, that's what I kind of keep hearing is there's no emotional connection, which is kind of disappointing, but I don't know, because then I hear from people who haven't been to Disney and since they were kids, and they go and it's the most amazing thing. So yeah.
Yeah, and I do think I think if you're a frequent visitor and you're expecting Wishes or Happily Ever After, you're going to be disappointed. But if it's your first time, it's impressive. Disney, they do that stuff. No one does it like them. So it's very impressive.
Did Sky feel the same way that you did about it?
Yes. She, we both kind of said, we'll give it another chance. We'll see it again. And I do recommend that, people see it in person before, you form an opinion, because, I hate to tell someone that it wasn't our favorite and then they go with it in mind that, it's not going to be great, or because, everyone feels differently. And I will say it is better in person than video.
That's good to know. Yeah, we are going in January, and I haven't watched any videos because I was I just want to see it in person, and then I'll form my opinion.
I think that is a great idea, because we did watch it. We watched videos of it, so I already kind of knew that maybe I wasn't going to love it a super lot. So, but I do think I was glad that I saw it in person, and I do think it's better in person than in video. And I didn't cry through the whole thing, happy tears like I normally do with Happily Ever After.
Mm-hmm.
But when Tink flew, there were still tears. So.
Yeah. Well, that's good. So what did y'all do after the fireworks?
We headed directly out because our ride was picking us up at 5 a.m. So that was really good part of being at the end of Main Street like that too. We turned and got out before those tons of people closer to the castle.
Yeah, that's nice.
And also Magic Kingdom was open till 11 that night, so I think that helped some with the crowds leaving as well, because people still had a couple of hours to stay if they wanted to.
Oh, for sure, and I'm sure a lot of people took advantage of that.
So, but yeah, we just it was not a super long wait then either. We hopped on the boardwalk bus and went back, and then again, it had been a lot of walking, and instead of walking, we just hopped on the Friendship boat and went back over to the Dolphin.
That sounds fun. And y'all had a very early morning the next day.
We did. We used the same Tiffany Town car. We just booked round trip with them. He was there at 5. He was supposed to be there at 5. He texted a couple minutes before 5, and he was waiting on us. So we just went down and hopped right in with him, and he took us right, to the door of the airport and unloaded our luggage for us.
That's wonderful. That is so nice to have a reliable service like that. That's so important. So much better than like a Lyft or an Uber when most of the time they're reliable, but you never know.
I'm always nervous with them like that early in the morning, especially when it's like for a flight. And Allegiant really only flies like a few flights a week to each destination. So missing your flight is not an option.
Right.
Like it would have at least been the next day if we, had transportation problems getting to the airport. So, the little bit of extra money was definitely worth peace of mind for me knowing that we were going to definitely have a ride when we were ready.
Absolutely. So y'all's trip sounded so much fun. I loved hearing about it. What was the significance of you and Sky being there on the 50th, like to you personally? It was maybe not the best time for us to travel, with Sky being newly in college and newly in a sorority and rehearsing for her first college play. But it was something that we knew that we wanted to experience together, and we decided to just to try to fit in a short trip. It was overwhelmingly emotional. Like I couldn't count how many times I just teared up just because you could feel from the cast members and a lot of the other guests that it was just everybody knew what an important day it was. Mm-hmm. And it was just I don't even know if I can accurately put into words how important it was, to be able to be there and celebrate with the cast members and, see all the new stuff. So it was something that I wouldn't trade for the world to get to, to have done that, just Sky and I together. And it was it's hard to it's hard to put into words the whole atmosphere and how the cast members were all just so happy to be there. And it was, we made friends when we were waiting for Enchantment with, people behind us that, felt the same way. It was great. It was definitely back maybe to a more traditional Disney crowd than there was over the summer. That's so wonderful. I love hearing that. So what did you have a once most magical moment of y'all's trip?
I really think when we just kind of accidentally caught the Voices of Liberty at Epcot and went and, sat down in the theater, and it was, it was not crowded, and the weather was, there was a nice breeze, and their singing is so beautiful. And I definitely, like, Sky was like, Mom, what's wrong with you? Why are you crying? Just, it was just one of those things that you're just kind of overwhelmed with being grateful to be able to be there.
Absolutely.
So I think just the, voices, like, just, catching those couple songs from the Voices of Liberty was my favorite moment.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love it. So as we wrap up this travel tale, do you have another Disney vacation planned?
I don't have anything planned yet, which is the first time in several years that we haven't had something on the books. So something is definitely coming. We were just talking about it yesterday. Definitely we're going to maybe try to go when Sky is out for holiday break before she goes back for the second semester. Maybe like right before Christmas or right after Christmas. We're definitely gonna try to head down for a couple of days.
That's so wonderful. I love it. How much fun. I hope you enjoyed the show today. Don't forget to check out our Instagram page at Disney Travel Tales to see pictures from Shelly and Sky's trip. If you are interested in coming on the show, email me at disneytalespodcast@gmail.com. Shelly is an agent at Trolley Lane Travel, and if you would like to contact her about planning your next Disney vacation, check the show notes on how to get in touch with her. We will be back next Tuesday with a new episode all about Disney's resort in Hawaii, Aulani. You won't want to miss it. Until then, this is Jenny, and may all your Disney travel dreams become a reality.